May 25th, 1905, Volume 6, The Image of Jesus in the Soul. As I was in my usual state, I could see blessed Jesus outside and inside my interior. If I would see him as a child outside, as a child I would see him inside. If I would see him crucified outside, I would see the same inside. I remained surprised, and he said to me, "My daughter, when my image is formed completely in the interior of the soul, whatever form I want to assume externally, in order to look at myself, the same one is assumed by my image, which I have formed in the soul. What is the wonder, then?" May 25th, 1909, Volume 9, Jesus Confounds the Soul with Love. Continuing in my usual state, blessed Jesus was not coming. However, for the whole day I felt as if there was someone over me who would not let me waste 1 minute of time, but would keep me always in continuous prayer. A thought wanted to distract me by saying, "When the Lord does not come, you pray more, you are more attentive. And by this you yourself give him the field not to come, because the Lord may say, 'Since she behaves better when I do not go, it is better if I deprive her of me.'" Since I could not waste time in listening to what my thought was saying, in order to shut the door on its face, I said, "The more he does not come, the more I will confound him with love. I do not want to give him the occasion. This is what I can do, and this is what I want to do. And he is free to do whatever he wants." And without thinking of the nonsense that my thought had told me, I continued to do what I was supposed to do. In the evening, however, I didn't even remember about this. Blessed Jesus came, and almost smiling at me, he told me, "Brava, brava, my lover, who wants to confound me with love. However, I tell you, you will never confound me. And if sometimes it seems that I am confounded with love, it is I who give you the freedom to do it, because the only relief and the thing which I most enjoy from creatures is love. In fact, it was I who solicited you to pray, who prayed with you, who gave you no respite. So instead of me being confounded, I confounded you with love. And since you felt all filled with love and were confounded by it, in seeing that my love was pouring so much into you, you thought you were confounding me with your love. However, I tell you, as long as you try to love me more, I delight in these mistakes of yours, and I make of them a joke between me and you. May 25th, 1912, Volume 11. In the divine will, the soul becomes malleable in the hands of Jesus. This morning, my always adorable Jesus, seeing me very oppressed, made me suckle from his heart. And then he told me, "My daughter, if one wants to make a hole in a hard object, or give it another shape, that object would be ruined or shattered. But if it is tender or made of soft material, one can make the hole, or give it the shape desired without fearing that it might break. And if one wanted to return it to the original shape, that object would offer itself with no difficulty. Such is the soul who lives in my will. She is a soft object. I can make of her whatever I want. Now I wound her. Now I embellish her. Now I enlarge her. In one instant I remake her again, while the soul is available for everything. She does not oppose herself to anything, and I always carry her in my hands, delighting continuously in her." May 25th, 1915, Volume 11. In the midst of the chastisement of war, there is nobody who thinks of converting and returning to God. As I was in my usual state, My always adorable Jesus barely made himself seen and told me, "My daughter, the chastisement is great." Yet people do not stir themselves. Rather, they remain almost indifferent, as if they had to be present at a tragic scene, not a reality. Instead of all coming as one to cry at my feet, imploring mercy and forgiveness, they are, instead, attentive to hear what is happening. Ah, my daughter, how great is human perfidy! Look at how obedient they are to governments. Priests and lay people do not demand anything. They do not refuse sacrifices and must be ready to give their own lives. Ah, for me only there is no obedience and no sacrifices. And if they do anything at all, it is more pretensions and interests. This because the government resorts to force. But since I make use of love, this love is disregarded by the creatures. They remain indifferent as if I did not deserve anything from them. As he was saying this, he burst into tears. What a cruel torment to see Jesus crying. Then he continued, "Blood and fire will purify everything, and will restore the repentant man. And the more he delays, the more blood will be shed, and the carnage will be such as man has never contemplated." While saying this, he showed the human carnage. What a torment to live in these times! But may the divine volition be always done. May 25th, 1916, Volume 11. The current war will intensify, and Italy will be invaded. How Jesus cultivates the soul, so that she may produce fruit. Continuing in my usual state, I was all afflicted, especially because in the past days, blessed Jesus had shown me how foreign soldiers were invading Italy, the great massacre of our soldiers, and rivers of blood, at sight of which Jesus himself remained horrified. I felt my poor heart bursting with pain, and I said to Jesus, "Save my brothers, your images, from this lake of blood. Do not permit that any soul plunge into hell." In seeing that the divine justice will ignite its fury even more against the poor creatures, I felt like dying. Almost to distract me from such tormenting scenes, Jesus told me, "My daughter, my love for the creatures is so great that as soon as the soul decides to give herself to me, I surround her with so much grace. I caress her, I move her, I pick her up. I provide her with sensible graces, fervors, inspirations, squeezes to my heart." So in seeing herself graceful, the soul begins to love me, forming like a foundation of prayers and pious practices inside her heart, and she begins to exercise the virtues. All this forms a flowery field in the soul. But my love is not happy just with flowers. It wants fruits. So it begins to make the flowers fall. That is, it strips her of sensible love, of fervor, and of everything else, in order to make the fruits be born. If the soul is loyal, she continues her pious practices, her virtues, and she has no taste for any other human thing, not thinking about herself but only of me. With trust in me, she will give flavor to the fruits. With loyalty, she will let them mature, and with courage, tolerance, and tranquility, they will grow and become rich fruits. And I, the celestial farmer, will pick these fruits and make of them my food. Then I will plant another field more flowery and beautiful, in which heroic fruits will grow, such as to pull unheard of graces from my heart. But if she is unfaithful, mistrustful, agitated, and has a taste for human things and so forth, these fruits will be unripe, insipid, bitter, covered with mud, and will serve to embitter me and to make me withdraw from the soul. May 25th, 1923, Volume 15. The Divine Will Legitimizes Souls as Children of God. How everything was created for them. I felt as though immersed in the eternal volition, and my always lovable Jesus, drawing me to himself, transported me outside of myself, showing me heaven and earth. And as he was showing me this, he told me, "Beloved daughter of our supreme will, see this whole machine of the universe, heavens, sun, seas, and all the rest, was created by us to give it as a gift. But do you know to whom? To the ones who would do our will. Everything was given to them as to our legitimate children. We did this for the decorum of our works, depositing them and giving them as gift, not to foreign people or to illegitimate children, who would not understand the great goods contained in them, nor appreciate the greatness and the sanctity of our works. On the contrary, they would waste them and despise them, but by giving them to our legitimate children. Hence, since each created thing contains a distinct love and a special good for the one to whom the gift is directed, our will, dwelling in them and forming its very life in them, would make them comprehend all these loves, distinct among themselves, which are present in the whole creation, as well as all the specialties of goods. So they would requite us for each distinct love, and would give us glory and honor for all the goods given to them. Our will, which had created them with one fiat, and which knew all the secrets, dwelling in our legitimate children, with another fiat would reveal our secrets contained in all created things, and would make them give us love for love. Harmonies and communications would be mutual between them and us. And even though it seems that those who do not do our will enjoy and take part in them, the gifts are not theirs. They do so as an indirect cause, as usurpers and illegitimate children. More so, since my will does not dwell in them, and therefore they understand nothing or very little of my love, which all creation brings to them, and of the great goods present in it. Even more, many do not even know who created so many things. True, foreign people who, while living of the things that belong to me, do not even want to recognize me. So this great gift of the whole universe was delivered by my celestial Father to my humanity, as to a true legitimate son, and there was nothing for which I did not requite him, gift for gift, love for love. Then came my celestial mother, who was able to requite her Creator so well. And then the children of my will have come, whom my will was to legitimize as its true children. This is why all creation exults with joy, makes feasts and smiles when, as I draw you outside of yourself, together with me it recognizes the legitimate daughter of the Supreme Will, its true owner. All created things would want to run up onto your lap and around you, not only to make feast for you, but to be appreciated, defended, and considered as gifts of their Creator. And they all compete to give you, each one of them, distinct love and the gift which each created thing contains. Some want to give you the gift of the beauty of your Creator and the love that beauty contains. Some the gift of power and the love that power contains. Some the gift of wisdom, some of goodness, some of sanctity, some of light, some of purity, as well as the distinct loves contained in wisdom, goodness, sanctity, light, purity, and so forth. So my will knocks down all the barriers that exist between the soul and God. It places her in harmony between heaven and earth. It reveals all secrets contained in the whole creation, and it renders her the depository of all the gifts of God. May 25th, 1929, Volume 26, Power of One Who Lives in the Divine Fiat. Virtue of the acts done in it. How all generations hung upon the acts done by Adam. Continuing in my usual abandonment in the Fiat, I found myself outside of myself, and to my surprise I found the infernal enemy near me, as if he wanted to jump over me. I felt such strength within me as to put myself over him, and as I was putting myself over, he was all shattered and smashed to pieces. I felt concerned, and I thought to myself, it is a long time since I had seen the enemy. Even more, if he would see me, he would run away from me. And now, what does he want with his drawing near me? And my lovable Jesus, moving in my interior, told me, my daughter, the soul who possesses my divine Fiat has such power as to shatter the diabolical power to pieces, and I allowed you to touch with your own hand how by just placing yourself over him, he was crushed, so that you may not fear him, and he might feel the power of one who possesses my will, that scatters the diabolical strength like dust in the wind. Therefore do not be concerned about him, and continue your life in my Fiat. Indeed, you must know that each prayer, each act and motion of one who lives in it, encloses within itself an infinite and indelible strength and weight, and the infinite extends everywhere. It contains the virtue producer of all goods. It embraces eternity. It encloses God himself. Therefore, an act done in my will is an act that never ends, and has such power as to enclose heaven and earth. And our Fiat, with its infinite power, encloses our divinity in the act of the creature, forming with its veils of light the most beautiful and delightful, my love, for our divine being. Jesus disappeared, and I felt sunken in the abyss of light of the supreme Fiat. After this I was continuing my acts in the divine Fiat, and as I arrived at Eden, I thought to myself, in this Eden, our first father Adam did the first acts in the divine Fiat. The whole creation had its beginning within an act of divine will, operated in all created things, and so did the first man. The divine will extended the fullness of its sanctity, power, beauty, and light in each thing, making itself actor and spectator, enclosing everything in one single act of its divine will. How beautiful was the creation at its beginning! One was the will that operated, and the different acts were nothing other than the effects of it. But while I was thinking about this, my lovable Jesus moving in my interior told me, my daughter, all generations hung upon the first acts done by Adam in the fullness of my divine will, because being done in it, they were acts full of life, and could give origin and life to all the other acts of all creatures. And even though creatures do not live of my will, but of their own, yet it is always my will that gives them life, and while it gives them life, they keep it, as though suffocated and agonizing in their acts. And therefore all the acts of Adam done in my will are there as prime act of all the acts of creatures. Who can destroy an act done in my divine will? Who can ever take away from it the sovereignty, the power, the beauty, the life? No one. There is nothing that does not hang upon the first act. All created things hung upon the first act done by He who created them. And if so much love, yearn and want that my will be known and reign in the midst of creatures, the reason is precisely this, that its rights, just and holy, be given back to it, and that all creation, just as it had its beginning, may all of it return into our divine will. May 25th, 1933, Volume 32. How the Divine Will is Permanent Miracle. One who lives in it is the bearer of the divine works, and her fields are creation and redemption. I am always surrounded by the supreme Fiat, its sweet empire, its powerful attractions, its kiss of light, with which it encounters all my acts in order to deposit itself in them and enclose itself within, so as to form its life. It is the sweetest enchantment to my little soul. And between marvel and amazement I exclaim, "O divine will, how much you love me, even to abasing yourself in my little act, in order to enclose your operating life there." But while my mind was lost in it, my sweet Jesus, who also enjoyed the charm, the admirable ways of his volition, all tenderness and goodness, told me, "Dearest daughter of my divine will, my divine volition is by itself a continuous miracle. To descend into the baseness of the act of the creature in order to form its act, its life there, is the greatest of miracles that has been given to no one to be able to do. Its investing virtue penetrates everywhere. With its kiss of light, it enraptures the act of the creature. It moves it. It transforms it. It conforms it. And with its miraculous virtue, it forms there its act, in that act of the creature, and without destroying that of the creature. Rather, it makes use of it as space, so as to implant its act there, and it serves as void for it, as to form its life there, so much so that from the outside one sees the human act, from the inside one sees the marvels, the sanctity, the great miracle of the divine act. Therefore, one who does my will and lives in it does not need to do miracles. She lives under the reign of the miracles of my volition, and she possesses in herself the font, the source, that transforms the creature into the miraculous virtue of my divine will in a way that one sees in her the miracle of invincible patience, the miracle of perennial love toward God, the miracle of continuous prayer without ever tiring. And if they see pains, they are miracles of conquests, of triumphs, of glory that she encloses in her pains. For one who lives in my will, it wants to give to the soul the miracle of divine heroism, and in the pains it places the infinite weight and value. It places the imprint, the seal of the pains of your Jesus. You must know, my daughter, that so much is our love toward one who lives in the divine will, that we make her the gift of everything that we did in creation and redemption, and she makes hers everything that is ours. And since it is hers and ours, as a thing connatural in her acts, and she seeks the divine will, now she finds herself in the sky, in the sun, in the sea, and so forth. She feels in herself all the sanctity of our works that are also hers, and feeling identified with them, she comprehends what it means to have a sky always extended, a sun that always gives light, a sea that always murmurs, a wind that with its breezes brings to everyone the caresses of her Creator. and she feels herself sky, stars, sun, sea, wind, and oh, how she loves us. And with the enrapturing strength of her love, that is our love, she comes to deposit everything before our divine throne. And oh, how we feel ourselves enraptured by her notes and currents of love that she makes us. We can say that if we have this creature on earth, we have her in order to let her be bearer of our works. We dispersed them in creation, and it seems that she collects them for us in order to come to us to say, how much you have loved me, and how much she loves us. But she is more beautiful when she passes into the kingdom of my acts of redemption. With how much love she passes from one act to another, as she kisses them, embraces them, adores them, thanks them, encloses them in her heart, and all love, she tells me. Jesus, your life on earth ended. Your works, your words, your pains remained. Now touch me to continue your life. Therefore, everything that you yourself did would serve my life. Otherwise, I cannot form another Jesus of myself. If you do not give me everything, I can neither form nor continue your life on earth. And I, all love, say to her, my daughter, everything is yours. Take from me what you want. Rather, however much more you take, so much more I will be content, and so much more I will love you. But the most beautiful thing of this happy creature is that while she wants everything, she takes everything. She feels that she cannot contain what she has received, so she comes to her Jesus. She gives me everything. She pours herself into me, even her littleness, her little volition, and oh, how content I am by it. I can say that they are continuous exchanges of life that we make, I to her and she to me. So much is the strength of the union of one who lives in our will, between her and us, that we can neither place her aside from us in all our works, nor can she place herself aside. If this could be, it would happen as if one would want to divide the light of the sun in two, that which is impossible, dividing the unity of its light. And if one would want to try to divide it, she would remain scorned, and with the strength of its unity, the light would laugh at her. Or yet, to split the sky, to separate the strength of the wind, the unity of the air, are all impossible things, because all their life, the strength that they possess, remains in the unity. In such conditions, one finds one who lives in our will. All her strength, her value, her beauty, her sanctity, remains in the unique and united strength with her Creator. Therefore be attentive, and let your life be in us, and with our works. End of May 25th. Fiat.